whom will they belong? Thus will it be for all who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich in what matters to God. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So, just in case that first reading wasn't clear, let me repeat some of that. Your knowledge and skills, vanity. Your labor, vanity. Your possessions, vanity. Oh, and after you die, whoever gets your things left, also vanity. So, what's going on here? Why are we declaring all these things vanity? Isn't God good? Isn't God's creation good? Didn't God create us with our free will and our intellect so that we can know Him, so that we can pursue knowledge and wisdom, and so that we can use our created bodies and produce things and work the land and live off the land and so forth? Aren't all these things good? Why then are we declaring things vanity? So let's look at the author. The name Koheleth is more of a title, and it means one who calls together the community of God's people. This is somebody who assembles God's people for worship. In the book of Ecclesiastes, Koheleth self-identifies as the son of David, the king of Jerusalem. So the assumption here is that this is King Solomon, a very wise and knowledgeable king. Now, scholars believe this was written much later, and this author probably adopted the name of, or tried to co-opt Solomon to give themselves credibility in terms of wisdom and knowledge. But what is written in the book, we can see that this author does indeed, they have pursued wisdom and knowledge, and they're well versed in the understanding of the world. So it seems maybe this person doesn't either believe what they say at the beginning of this reading, or there's something deeper here. The word vanity, as translated from the Hebrew word, and I apologize if I pronounce this wrong, I believe it's hevel. It means vapor, breath, or smoke, which highlights the fleeting nature of things, right? It emphasizes worldly achievements and even our own lives. They're ultimately meaningless without that foundation, that spiritual foundation and relationship with God, with that connection to God. So the tendency here, the intention seems to be to highlight our personal human tendency to make these attachments to worldly things. But we should also remember that worldly things are not necessarily bad, they're just worldly. Right? We can still have nice, wonderful things that are fleeting. That's okay. It's that Catholic and. So we need to temper our attachments and not lose sight of the eternal. We also see this unfolding in the gospel with this parable of the rich landowner. And by the way, we should think about when Jesus was asked why he preaches, why he speaks in parables, what did he say? He replied that while you understand, not everyone will. Right? Parables give us an opportunity to try to reflect on the characters in the story that's unfolding and see how that applies to our own life. Where do we identify with the character? How does this fit in? Now you're probably thinking, well, Deacon, there's only two characters, right? There's the rich man and there's God. And I don't think I want to identify as God, so that leaves the rich man. And I'm not a rich man. I contend, though, there are actually two characters, though one is really not named. You do have the rich man. He's the focal point of the story. But you also have the people that work for him. Somebody must be harvesting that enormous, bountiful harvest. Somebody must have built his barns and is going to tear them down and build them again. This rich landowner is not going to do that. So there's essentially two people here we can reflect on, in my opinion. Again, this is just Deacon, but this is my opinion here. Let's focus on the rich man. First, he gets this windfall and he does not turn his attention to God. He turns it to himself, right? He becomes selfish and he fixates on this wealth and his future where he can just grow fat, dumb, and happy with all this newfound bounty that he's collecting from his harvest. Now talk about vanity of vanities. This is where God comes in and says, aha, no, tonight your life is ending and all this stuff you're trying to collect for you is utterly worthless. Now, we don't know how the rich man's life was going before that. We don't know if the people who were working for him were treated well. I kind of assume that they are because the story seems to hinge on his decision to hoard that wealth. But if we think about the folks who are doing that harvesting and who would be potentially building these barns, I think it's reasonable to conclude they might see this newfound bounty and potentially be jealous or potentially try to get greedy themselves. Right? Maybe they see this and they also turn away from God, who has been providing for them through the landowner, and they turn away and they turn inwardly and they get either greedy or potentially jealous of what they see that's not theirs. Either way, the point is, Jesus wants us to turn away from things of this world and turn towards things of heaven which endure forever. Now, I assure you, I could easily spend the next hour telling you how, in my own life, I've let these things of vanity creep in and help and sort of turn me away from God, and all the times that I've had to turn back and remember to put the things of heaven first. But of course, this challenge is deeply personal. It's for each of us. And so that's my request for you. Spend some time reflecting on your own life. Where in your life can you picture this little Koheleth on your shoulder going, vanity, right there. There it is, vanity. Right? Where is that for you? Take that and do two things. First, bring that back to the confessional and bring that to Jesus and say, Jesus, I'm sorry, I'm putting this in front of you. I'm turning towards this and away from you. And second, resolve with his help that you're getting to do better, to put those things of God first. Again, worldly things are okay, but turn to God first. May God continue to bless us and guide us on our journey.